now, KernCast 23 with Elena Rusk.
And taking a look outside, very muggy out there. I love this picture, a time lapse from our City of Tehachapi camera where you can see the clouds rolling in this afternoon. Thankfully, not an active day like we saw yesterday with some of that rain and some rumbles of thunder, but still pretty interesting to see all of that cloud cover up there. We have had a couple cells popping up with just a little bit of rain. And the problem with this is it's also kicking up our winds. Now, the rain helps our crews, but of course the winds and that heat do not. Let's take a look at our current temperature here in Bakersfield, 107 degrees. That dew point still at 50 degrees, and that's why it feels so muggy out there. There's that breeze, though, from the west-northwest at 13 miles an hour. Now, again, we don't want the breeze up in the mountains or down in the desert where they're fighting that fire. But having this wind coming from the west means we're getting some more ocean air coming in. So still hot, but it's going to help kind of push that high out of the way. So today we officially got up to 108. Our average, of course, 96, still very high above that number. And it looks like we'll stay there for the next few days. Now, there's our ridge of high pressure. That's scooted up to the north, as you can see. A ridge of high pressure still over the Pacific, keeping this cool Alaskan storm up to the north. There's our thermal low. Again, some of that monsoon pushing right into our area. But as we take a look, you can see it's not as widespread as it was yesterday. A lot of that rainfall concentrated up to the north in the Sierras there. Here's a look at some of the cells we've seen popping up the last few hours. But you can see there are just a couple left here that are still a little active. One right over where that fire is near Mojave. That is not good news if there is a lightning strike in there. Your air quality, that's unhealthy for sensitive groups, but down a little bit on the index at 109. Your allergies, those are still pretty high at 7 out of 12. Now, with these hot temperatures, 108 today, we're expecting to keep falling, but it's a very slow progression. 105 for Delano and Taft, 104 for Wasco, Bakersfield, and Arvin. Still some triple digits up in the mountains. I've dropped Glenville back into the 90s, along with everyone down to the south, but 102 for Lake Isabella is still very hot for you. Out into eastern Kern County, 108 for Ridgecrest. Everyone else a couple degrees behind like we've seen the last few days. So let's talk about that 7-day forecast. You can see that very slow progression I mentioned, but there is the relief in sight. By early next week, it looks like we finally get in the 90s, still above average, but it's nice to end the streak that we've had in the 100s. In the Kern River Valley, you're drying out for the next few days, but staying hot. This weekend, you'll get muggy as the monsoon returns, but you're back in the 90s by Sunday. And take a look at the mountains. Tehachapi, one more day of the 90s, then it looks like you're in the 80s tomorrow all the way through early next week. So it is still hot out there, and we were asked to put a reminder up here for some hot weather tips. Of course, stay in the shade whenever possible. Drink plenty of water, and that means water only. Alcohol, sugar, and caffeine just dehydrate you more. Wear light, loose-fitting clothing. Check on your elderly neighbors and your pets. Make sure that they have plenty of cool conditions to sit in and some water. And, of course, never leave a child in a hot car.
Good advice. All right. Thanks, Elena, for that.